artists, we are now going to create the trees that are in the middle ground. Okay, so the first step we painted was the sky in the background, and in our paintings we work from the back and then we move our way to the front. So we're not looking at the road, we're not looking at the grass, this giant tree, we're not even thinking about these really dark evergreens right here. What we're looking at are these really soft pale white, light yellow, light green trees in the background. So that's what we're gonna make first. So let's check our setup. So I have my water cup, I have my brushes, I have my reference photo, I have my paint palette, I have a piece of magazine paper. So the magazine paper you could use from like an advertisement or from rip it out of a magazine. It's glossy. That way you can mix colors on top of it, and at the end, when we're finished, just fold it up and throw it away. So we're gonna be scooping paint out of our palette and mixing it on here. You wanna try to keep your palette as neat as possible. I'm gonna slide that back actually. And then I also have my paper towel, because after I rinse my brush, I always wanna dry it. Okay, pinch and pull. Okay, so I'm gonna look first here at these colors back here, and I have these really soft whitish yellows. So I'm gonna scoop a little bit of white. I'm gonna put that right here. And then I'm gonna I can wipe my brush off, and I can take a little bit of this yellow, just a tiny bit, and then I'm gonna mix those together here. And I don't need a ton, because I'm just getting a little bit of a coating. So in the back. So I'm just gently tapping, I'm not pressing too hard. Just a nice soft tap with my brush. I'm just filling in, down, let's see some of it coming down. I'm gonna fill in the whole back area. It doesn't all have to be filled in with this yellow. Okay. So by adding white to a color, creating a tint, it makes it look a little pastel. Okay, now this is a light color, so it's a little hard to get to cover over those pencil lines, so we might need to do a couple of coatings there. But again, I'm doing a tapping because the texture of an evergreen tree or those shrubs that are back there is a little bushy, so I don't want to paint it smooth. Okay, I see a little bit of yellow over here, so maybe I'll just bring a little bit in. Most of this is going to end up getting covered, but we'll fill. Okay. Now over here, then we have a little bit more. I'm going to take a little bit of this yellowish brown, and I'm going to scoop a little bit more white. I'm going to lighten that down, and I'm just going to do the same thing. The color's not too drastically different from what I just put down, just slightly different. So I'm going to create this texture in there. Don't cover up everything you just did. Okay, let some of each of the colors show on their own. Okay, and you're starting to fill that in. Okay. And again, most of this is going to get covered by what's in front of it, but we don't want the canvas to show through, so we're going to fill that in. Okay, fill that in. Add a little back there. Okay. Now I need to get a lighter green. And I actually like this yellow mixture that I have going on here. So I'm going to take one of my lighter greens and just put a little bit kind of on top of there. And then I'm going to wipe this before I grab some white so I don't mess up all of my white here. And I'm scooping from the edges. I don't need to scoop from the middle. Scoop from the edge. Then I'm going to mix that green in with my yellow. It's going to really dull it down a bit. I'm just going to add some pops of green in there. Now we're painting like the Impressionist, so it does not have to be 1000% exact to our reference photo. Okay, we're capturing the essence of the moment, the way light hits things. I'm really just creating a lovely landscape. So some things we're going to simplify down. We might alter it a little bit in some areas, but at the end of the day, it's going to look like an autumn landscape. Okay, and I'm going to go in with a slightly darker green. Again, I can just kind of mix right on top of what I have here to neutralize that a little bit. I'm just gonna fill in a little bit back here. But I want my strokes to feel very soft because as things are in the background, one way that we create space is through atmospheric perspective, meaning that things in the background are a little bit hazier, okay, a little less in focus. I'm just gonna kind of fill in a little. And again, most of this is gonna get covered, but it saves me some time later when I don't see any canvas showing through. Take a little bit of maybe one of my light browns, just a little bit, and mix that into my green, just to give me a slightly different. But again, I'm just using such a small amount of paint. Okay, you don't need a lot of paint to paint a little canvas. Okay, we don't need to glob it on. Okay. I'm gonna actually use this brown, and I'm gonna get down here because it's a little bit shadowier. And I just wanna fill. So I'm just trying to fill that middle ground before I place everything else over top. So again, most of this is going to get covered, but I'm just filling it in right now. And you're probably looking at it saying, I'm not sure where we're going with this. This does not look like my picture. Kind of just looks like a jumbled mess. But just trust me, we're going to get there. Okay,